Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jen Pack, and I'm ACCE's Resource Manager. I'm here to highlight some of our resources today, and I'm going to keep it very short and just touch on those highlights. So let's start with the basics, such as how to log into the site and review and update your membership information. Keep in mind that we're preparing for a systems migration, and many of the resources have changed or will be changing in the near future. And you can always use the Ask ACCE online form if you need assistance. And that can be found right from our homepage in the middle here. I'd also like to point out some other homepage highlights, including the Horizon Initiative. And this is an effort to help chambers plan for and address the most important influences on the next decade of chamber work. Chambers embrace the Horizon Initiative when they want to get ahead of the curve and think about their impact long term. You can also link to the Chamber Executive Magazine. And here you can read the latest articles, which was just published a couple of weeks ago. You can also access our coronavirus resource guide from the homepage, and we're continuing to update this as new resources are developed. At the bottom of our homepage, you can also scroll down to event listings, including upcoming webinars, division roundtables, conference calls, and more. We have a number of roundtable calls for our divisions with discussions, solutions, and strategies for the new normal. You can also click on See More Upcoming Events and see a complete listing of ACCE's upcoming events. Now let's take a look at how to log in using your username and password. Each member of each chamber should have their own username and password. If you can't find yours or have forgotten it, you can always email askacce@acce.org to recover it. On any of our web pages on the top right, you can click on Login. Once you're logged in, if you go to My Account, then you can access the membership home screen. This is where you can access events you registered for. You can also search the ACCE membership directory or log into the dynamic chamber benchmarking, which we'll touch on a little bit later. If you click on My Membership, this is where you can change your username and password or update your personal information. I want to point out a couple of other powerful ways to connect with your peers. If you go to Networks, there's a variety of ways to connect with your peers to exchange information, share best practices, and generate new ideas. CEOs can join one of our community peer groups to network with other chambers in the same demographic. And all staff of all chambers are invited to join our ACCE divisions. These are groups where you can connect to counterparts from across the country related around different focus areas. Our networks are very active and collaborative in response to coronavirus, and there are regular calls on the calendar, some as often as weekly. ACCE is also present on social media sites, which can be found in our footer. There you can go to our Facebook page, Twitter, or LinkedIn accounts. Let's move on to the Information tab, and I'll give you an overview, including some updates on what's happening in the information world of ACCE. We're going through some major changes. Staff at ACCE have been busy with several data manipulation and cleanup projects to prepare for our migration of our resources to a new and more user-friendly system. Our goal is to make it easy for our members, any staff person at any chamber, regardless of type or size, to find the relevant information that you need to do your job. The URL to the information page is resources.acce.org. This page will give you access to our resources, which we are continually developing, including a number of resource guides. The resource guides are organized by topic and include a variety of resources, including strategic planning, case studies and chamber models, best practices, and we're continuing to create and publish them on a variety of chamber topics. They can be accessed from the toolbar or on the middle of our information homepage. We have guides on chamber foundations, virtual events, non-dues revenue, and most recently, we've added the Alliances, Mergers, and Partnerships Guide. The information portal is also where you can access dynamic chamber benchmarking. This is our participatory data survey tool that you can use to identify trends and for benchmarking your chamber against other chambers. You can also access our samples library, and this is our library of documents collected from member chambers with samples such as board member agreements, position descriptions, marketing plans, annual reports, and more. You can also access the Ask ACCE Submit a Question online form. This is the service we provide to members, and it includes a basic Q&A and also research services. You can typically expect a reply in 24 to 48 business hours, and the best way to reach us is through this online form. Let's take a peek at the samples library. Again, this library includes working documents collected from your peers, including marketing materials, membership brochures, bylaws, annual reports, job description, and many other items, including award winners. Samples are a great way to save time. You can download, edit, and customize any document. So how do you search for all this? We recommend by choosing a broad search term and then narrowing your search results by keyword. Then you can scroll down and see the results that you get. You can also filter down by chamber revenue size or community peer group. And we're currently in the process of creating a new repository for the samples library on the new website. And we're holding off on deleting older ones and adding new material. So all of this is going to be updated in the next couple of months. Now I'm going to go back and talk about the resource guides. And again, these guides are designed to be the best of compilations of resources on chamber-specific subjects. Within these guides, you'll find in-depth resources from ACCE, peer chambers, and other expert materials, including research papers, chamber best practices, samples, articles from Chamber Executive Magazine and other industry publications, webinar recordings, convention materials, and more. You can also search for specific topics using the search bar. One thing to be aware of that during this time of transition and migration, things may be a little bit awkward in the search. This search bar actually searches only the live guides and FAQs in the information office area, not the overall ACCE website. The same is true of the search bar on the older area of our website, which does not search the new resource guides. All of these issues will be integrated once we're migrated to our new website and platforms within the next couple of months. Now let's go back and take a look at the coronavirus resource guide, which was created in response to the pressing needs that the pandemic has posed for chambers and the business community across the country. This is a fluid guide where we will continue to add new resources as we develop them, so be sure to check back occasionally for new resources. You can see the many links here on the side with best practices, guidance for getting back to business, the CARES Act loans, membership renewal, and more. Now I'm going to touch briefly on dynamic chamber benchmarking. Something to keep in mind is that we're in the process of reevaluating dynamic chamber benchmarking, and some changes will be made to the platform and the way we collect metrics in the near future. We had low participation in 2019 because of COVID, and we're evaluating the best way to support members by publishing an economic recovery report using real-time COVID era data. Stay tuned for those announcements right after the new year, and in the meantime, know the platform is accessible at any time for use. This is the landing page where you can access support documentation to get started and log into DCB. This is also where you can access our membership statistics and operations reports under the DCB Reports tab. The membership statistics report is free to members. And you can use these statistics for member retention, benchmarking, and salary comparisons, board reports and annual reports, staff retreats, and strategic planning. This tab is also where you can access the operations report, which is available for free to Horizon, Investor, and All Access Pass members, as well as salary reports, which are available to CEOs and their staff delegates. Anyone on staff can log in to DCB using their ACCE login. Let's take a quick look. And the first time you log in, you should do it from the membership portal. So let's go back there. And the benefits of using dynamic chamber benchmarking over the published reports is that you can customize the reports you produce. Here you can access and apply filters, including total revenue, membership, chamber size, and more. This will show you where you stand in membership stats like retention and market penetration, as well as other operational statistics. I'm going to go ahead and download one. And the reports you produce will show how your chamber compares with your peers, as well as your performance over time. The data in these reports can empower you and your staff to make decisions, look to the past, plan ahead, and be dynamic with your benchmarking. DCB reports are accessible to all chambers that complete 50% or more of the survey questions for any given fiscal year. Entering your data gives you free access to data comparisons in operations, membership statistics, and trend reports. There are no deadlines, and you can enter or update your data at any time. And you can see on these graphs and charts where your chamber, if you enter your data, will be benchmarked. So some things to remember about dynamic chamber benchmarking is that the login will soon be separate from your ACCE login for dynamic chamber benchmarking. You can access the 2018 membership statistics report at any time. You can also participate and access previous survey years from 2018 all the way back to 2012, which will allow the possibility of creating trend reports and producing benchmarking reports immediately for those years. And remember that early in the new year, we're going to be releasing a marketing plan to increase participation in dynamic chamber benchmarking, and hope you'll participate so that we can release an economic recovery report for 2020. Now let's go back to the homepage and just take a quick look at what's available under the Professional Development tab. This is where you can find out information about convention, including accessing prior convention materials. It's also where you can learn more and view webinars, all of which are free to our members. And this page will list them from the most recent back. The Professional Development tab is also where you can learn more about the Certified Chamber Executive Program. And this program is designed to assess and support a chamber professional's knowledge in management, planning and development, membership and communications, as well as operations. If you have any questions about ACCE and the website, please don't hesitate to ask us. That's why we're here. And thanks for joining me today.